Hey, welcome back. This is Aunt Ellen with a third episode of 8 songs a week. Although I have been failing at getting those out every week, I'm mostly just kind of like trying to process the process. What the best way, what the best format is, and having some imposter syndrome issues, where you just feel kind of insecure and like, this is worth doing. And it is, because it music is important, and if anybody is comforted by one song every 4 episodes, I don't know, then it's worth it. Music means so much to me, and it helps me in so many ways, and that's why I want to share it with you. This week is has been very it's been a very emotional ride preparing and trying to put this together to pick the 8 songs that kind of reflect what I feel is important, not just in my life, but in the lives of those around me that I care about, and things that are going on in the world as well. I'm calling this episode Hope Springs Eternal because it is the beginning of spring. Easter's here. Spring is always a time for thinking about renewal and starting again, new life, and the cold, dark days of winter kind of behind us somewhat. So, the first song that I have chosen, and I don't know how these videos are going to work completely. I'm having trouble when I choose the video. Sometimes it doesn't play the whole video; it just plays a still frame of the song. So I'm kind of working on that. So I don't know whether you'll see the whole video. If it doesn't show the whole video, I'll probably put it on my Facebook page, on the eight songs a week Facebook page. And if you like this, if anything is kind of like helping you out, and you think a friend might like it, please, share it, and I'd appreciate it. But anyway, the first song, I've been singing this a lot, or it's been in my mind, the song Fragile by Sting. And there's a really great video of him doing it with Stevie Wonder playing harmonica. And a little footnote here, I tend to do this with different shows that I've worked on. I like to use bookends, start with something and end with kind of a familiar theme or the same artist or whatever. Anyway, this particular episode, I'm starting it with Sting and Stevie Wonder, and I'm ending it with Sting and Stevie Wonder, 2 different songs. So the first song is Fragile, and it just seems like we are just in a very fragile state these days. And I have become a recluse, which is like totally not like me in the past, but I just, I'm not socializing very much, which is one of the reasons why I'm doing the show, because I'm a highly sensitive person, and I want to invite other highly sensitive people that might be wanting to connect with other people, but not necessarily going out of the house. So that's the audience that I'm kind of targeting here, is that people that just want to connect with people that don't think that you're too emotional, or you're a bleeding heart, or you are overly sensitive. Being intuitive and empathic and highly sensitive it's very difficult to hold back sometimes what we're experiencing. And so there's a lot of fragileness going on in the world today, in our relationships, and uh, the way that the world functions at work, in our the atmospheres of our towns and cities and states. It's pretty insane, and it's it really can be pretty nerve wracking, and we're just very fragile right now. So I'm starting off with that song written by Sting, and Stevie Wonder plays the harmonica on it. And a little footnote, as I started to say, in researching this, I went back and looked at how many songs Stevie Wonder actually plays harmonica on, and there's dozens of them, hours and hours of people that he's accompanied their music. So I put together on Spotify, I made a list, and it is on my Facebook page, and I think I called it Healing Harm harmonica, and there's like 18 songs. I think it's like an hour and a half long of Stevie Wonder playing on different songs. So if you like Stevie Wonder, check it out. I'll try to remember to put it in the link to this too, but you can go to my Facebook page of 8 Days a Week, and you'll see that if you do use Spotify. So you want to check that out. The second song that I'm using is Ed Sheeran's song Spring, which seems appropriate since we just slid into spring, and just kind of getting out of winter, facing things and trying to be hopeful with healing and new beginnings, and that song just seems kind of appropriate. The third song that I'm using is a song by someone that I admire greatly personally, and she's a musician that I met in Pittsburgh, and she's opened for the Indigo Girls and Jill Sobol. She's played with her, and her name is Tracy Drock, and she is an amazing singer-songwriter who, unfortunately, I'm in my 60s, she's around my age, but she has early onset Alzheimer's, and she's had it for a number of years now. I think it's been like 8 years or so. And Tracy Drock wrote a song called Keep Love an Option. And I've had a couple different shows. I had a show on Youngstown State University's internet radio station for 3 years, and I played the song on that. I've shared the song with so many people. I'm a big music lover, as anyone knows that knows me, and Tracy's song, Keep Love an Option, is in my top 10 all-time favorite songs. Yeah, it's very, very moving, and it talks about war. It talks about just people bumping heads and not agreeing, and the song pretty much explains it. I hope that you are moved by it, and while you're listening to it, if you can just be thinking positively to send these thoughts to Tracy, who lives with her family, her sister now, and it's just very sad. There are so many people being touched by this, and I'm not sure, what, yeah, as a caregiver, I've been a caregiver most of my life on and off professionally, and I've dealt a lot with Alzheimer's, and truly it is just a devastating situation. It's really, really hard because the logic and the communication is just so difficult, and it's especially when someone is so young, it's so hard, and it's just happening more and more. I just don't remember. We didn't have the labels that we have now of being highly sensitive or having autism or being, having Alzheimer's or whatever. Our parents' generation didn't have these kind of titles or labels, but I just don't remember people. And people were having issues with memory, but not the way that we're seeing. Anyway, yeah, I just, my heart really goes out to anybody who's dealing with this issue. I truly, truly hope that you can tune in to this, whenever I post these, and grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea, and just sit down with this in the background while you're doing your grocery list or doing the dishes or just sitting and drinking your coffee, looking out the window. If you can sit with me and listen to this stuff and hopefully feel better or feel inspired, feel know that you're not alone. That's one of the main reasons why I'm doing this, is that we don't have to go out. We can stay in if that's what we need to do, but we can connect with each other this way. Please let me know what you think. Let me know songs that help you to get through. That's what I want to do, is communicate with the people that are tuning in here to, share what's working for you too, so I can pass that on. The fourth song is As Tears Go By, with the Rolling Stones. And this week, if anybody follows me on Facebook, I had a high school friend. I'm in touch with quite a few of my classmates from high school. The class of 77. Oh my God, that's crazy. 49 years. It just doesn't even seem possible, Anyway, one of my classmates, who was pretty regular at posting things on Facebook, we were in touch quite often, and I thought of her at the end of last week. I was thinking, wow, I haven't heard from Laura in a while. I wonder why. What's going on? So I was checking it out, and I found out that she passed away around Christmas time. And I just was, I just thought she was taking a break. People take a break from social media. And I just, I believe she was 66, same age I am. And I was just really kind of in shock, and still am. She was very present and very, very much a strong personality, a very caring and loving, funny person. And I and my other classmates are all kind of, we didn't expect this, and it just makes me realize how fragile we are. Again, going back to why I started this episode with the song Fragile, I was thinking of Tracy Drock, and I was thinking of Laura. And that leads to the fifth song, which is I'll Play For You, which is a Seals and Crofts song, and it reminds me of high school. We had a jukebox in our cafeteria, and we'd play cards, during lunch, or if we had study hall or whatever. And we had a jukebox, and so many songs on there. Just when I hear them, it reminds me of high school. And of course, Seals and Crofts was on the jukebox a lot. There was a lot, of their songs on there. So Dash Croft passed away last week. And just very, very sad to see another artist who have been a significant part of our soundtrack to our life. Boomers growing up during the 60s, 70s, 80s. And the songs are still big now. They're 50 years old, and young people, today are listening to these songs. So it's kind of crazy. But yeah, Dash passed away last week, and I think he was 87. Now on my Facebook page for 8 days a week, 8 songs a week. I keep saying 8 days a week, 8 songs a week. Um, he was a drummer, and Seals and Crofts were much more. They did a lot more music. Did a lot more instruments than just what we saw in their soothing um, vocals. So there's a post on there that is an instrumental, and it's really, really good. And Jim Seals is playing the saxophone, and Dash Cross ends up playing the drums, and it's a really good instrumental. But so remembering his passing, and then the next song goes into another musician who passed away in December, Chris Rea. If you remember, he did the song "Fool If You Think It's Over." You know, he wrote that for his little sister who was going through a breakup and having a teenage heartbreak. And when she was going through that, he wrote that song for her, "Fool If You Think It's Over." But around Christmas time, I love his song. I think it's called "Driving Home for Christmas." It's a really great Christmas song. But I was playing that, and when I was looking at that and researching that, he died. I think it was December. I know it was right around Christmas time. I think it was the 22nd. Because I was listening to the song "Driving Home for Christmas" like a few days before Christmas, and I think that's when I heard that he had passed away. But the thing about this song and playing in this particular episode is that I found out another piece of information this week, that another classmate, my friend Marguerite, lost her husband John last year, a year ago, and I didn't know that either. I was unaware of that. And Marguerite was a good friend of mine, and they had a really awesome marriage and relationship and friendship. They were married for 47 years, and they, in the last like 20 years or so, I'm not sure exactly on the time there, but Marguerite and John lived on a sailboat, and they lived down like in the Keys or Florida, whatever, and then they would come up in the springtime and spend the summer up so that they could go up to New York, where we're all from, New York State, and the St. Lawrence Seaway and that kind of thing. And I just would watch their videos on Facebook for the last years and just be in awe, and just thought it was so cool that that's what they did. I mean, it was just a really, something that I wouldn't do or can't do or don't have the ability to do, and got to live it vicariously by watching them and their travels. It was just very exciting, and you could just tell they were having a great time. But John passed away last year, and had a heart attack unexpected, and their boat actually was destroyed too, from what I heard. And it wasn't at the same time, but it was very close together during that time. But I think one of the storms that was really bad down there really affected where they had their boat staying, the place where they were keeping their boat. And when I heard that this week, I was just, first of all, I'm sorry that I didn't know it ahead of time, but until now. And what was really weird is that that was really on my heart as I was preparing for this. And I had not been looking up sailboats. I hadn't been looking up Chris Rea or anything recently. Like, I didn't know anything about the song. And all of a sudden the song popped up by Chris Rea, and the whole footage, I'm having trouble getting it to play, but I will post it on my Facebook page if it doesn't play. You'll be able to hear it in this lineup here. in this playlist. But if you can't see the video, you really need to see the video because it's just unbelievable. It's a sailboat video for the whole song. It is just the most beautiful video of a sailboat with, you don't see any people even on the sailboat. You don't see anybody driving it. You don't see, Chris Rea is not in it. There's no people in it. It's just this spectacular video that came the night before I heard about John passing away. Like the night before this sailboat video came into my view, and then I heard the story, and I was just like, stuff like that happens like a lot to me. And it's like premonitions of something you're going to hear or something. And it just lets me know when stuff like that happens, it just kind of confirms that I'm in tune, that I'm in tune, that I'm intuitive. I'm in tune with the lives around me and what's going on. And that's something that we need to trust more. And you need to exercise your heart and your spirit to recognize when a message is coming to you, or just a message of encouragement or words of encouragement to, or to be in touch with a friend. Like if something's telling you to contact somebody, to trust that, and again, starting this episode with the song Fragile, it just seems like all of this seems sad and heavy, but here's the thing, spring, hope springs eternal, that with all of the sorrow and the heartbreak and the grief that we all deal with, we have to be able to help each other, in these darker times, and watch for the new life to sprout up. And so the next song after Chris Rea is a cover that Sarah Bareilles did of What the World Needs Now. Of course, that song just always, speaks to so many people. It's like the song that just gets to you, And Sarah Bareilles did it a number of years ago for, I think, the 4th of July. And it was really, really, really moving. It was after one of the shootings that had happened. I don't know if it was the one in, I don't know which one it was, but it was just after some kind of tragedy, which is always happening, and music just tries to bring people together. So What the World Needs Now, of course, is, Burt Bacharach's Love, Sweet Love, that is the answer. And that's what we have to try to remember. And so I put that after the Chris Rea song, just to kind of, get us back on track to say, yeah, these things are happening and they're really hard and they really are heavy on our hearts. But, well, I'll segue into the last song. The last song is another Sting song with Stevie Wonder playing harmonica, the song Brand New Day. And it's just, about, whether, to start again, to have hope, to watch the flower, come up from the dirt, from the winter thaw and new life coming. Not, I put the song at the end, Brand New Day, after all these things that I've talked about. not that we can, disregard the pain that we've experienced and just, start all over again, but with, another new thing, oh, just move on, get over it. No, you never get over it. You never get over it, because all of the hurt that we feel helps to make us who we are. And we in starting something new, it isn't in disregard for what we've lost. It's actually in loving remembrance of the joy that we've had previously. It's like when you lose a pet and you get another one, it's not to replace that pet. It's because you loved having that little one in your life. I haven't had a pet for a number of years. I've had them all of my adult life until like the last 6 years. And I was just in places where I couldn't have pets, and it just wasn't the right time. But the apartment that I have now allows pets, and I got Ruby. My Ruby is just the sweetest little thing, and I just love her. So she doesn't replace, my other pets. Let me get her for you. She doesn't replace, Ruby. She doesn't replace, my other little ones. Look at this little one. Is she the cutest little thing or what? Hi, Ruby. Mama loves you so much. She is just my little joy. She loves to go on the bike with me. I got her a little pack that I wear, and she's got little goggles. You can see that on my Facebook page. But, it's not to replace, nothing can replace what we've lost, but we go on in loving memory of what we know is in honor of the previous situation or the previous relationship or the previous life that we've lost, in our bond. Even when relationships end, and it's not necessarily a passing away or death, sometimes relationships just take a different form, and that's okay. It's like we have to stop like putting, things in boxes, like, it has to either be a full-fledged romance or nothing, or it has to be this or that. It's like, I just think that we're missing out by putting things in boxes so quickly without really understanding who we are. And we're complex people. We are fragile, and we're complex, and we're changing. No one's life is the same. We have different experiences, different backgrounds. There's nobody that's like you, nobody that looks at life the way you do, because no one's experienced exactly what you have. And it's hard for us ourselves to understand who we are and what we want and what we hope for and what we, what our goals are, and what we've learned from different situations. But we're so quick to, have things be all or nothing, and it just is. Life just doesn't work that way. I mean, when things end, it doesn't have to be bad and angry and gaslighting and no contact. It's like unless there's something really that was not good and are dangerous, but to continue to be loving even from a distance, it's like we just need to be more patient and gentle and kind with each other and with ourselves, and not just be true to you, you know, do what you need to do, protect yourself, but be kind and be gentle whenever that's possible, or try to communicate. You know, that's not always something you have any control over, but if that's the case, then you just have to move on and do what you need to do in a loving and kind way, and you wish people the best, you know, and we just try to help each other to get through this time, you know, with hope, and let spring be a symbol of newness and growth and freshness and color and life. I hope you enjoy these songs. Please let me know songs that work for you. I want to know. I want to hear. I want to talk to you. I want us to bond. That's why I'm doing this. And whatever you're going through, I get it. You know, we're all there. We're all kind of in the same boat, more or less. And I just send you love. I thank you. I thank you for tuning in, and take heart. Take care. See you next time. Bye.